Before I ask you what are the best kid shows to ever exist, you may say Sesame Street, Blue's Clues, or even Bluey. But there's one show that is so good that it was nominated for the Emmys. Sort of. Today we're talking about Nanalan, a show about a 3-year-old girl named Mona getting dropped off at her grandmother's house, where Mona will have adventures with her grandmother dog Russell, and their neighbor Mr. Wonka. And in the end of the episode, she's picked up by her mother, says goodbye to her grandmother, and the show ends. Now, based on this description, the show looks like a typical kid show. But what makes this show unique than the others is it could be placed on the list for the best kid show, even in the highest ranking. Now, there's 3 points that makes Nanalan better than any other kid show. These points are child nostalgia, being relatable, and the puppet show. Now, I get it. These points are kind of random and not easy to understand. But after reviewing 4 of the episodes of Nanalan, which I'll call Nanalan from now on because it's easier, you'll understand why I picked these 3 points to describe the show. The 4 episodes that we're going to talk about in this video are the first episode and the last episode of the show, and the 2 episodes that made this show renewed in 2023. Let's get into it. The first episode of Nanalan starts with the episode Lollipop, where we're greeted to Mona enjoying her lollipop. And from out of nowhere, her dog tries to lick her lollipop. Now Mona's fighting her life to not get dog saliva virus, but then her dog slam-dogs her to the ground to take the lollipop. To be honest, Mona kind of got what she deserved because she tried to make Russell the dog jealous, but in the end she cried to her grandmother about Russell taking her lollipop. I'm not gonna describe every scene like this, but I just love this scene. It was a great scene to start the show. Anyways, Mona complains to her grandmother. Her grandmother tries to talk to the dog, which we learn that he has licking lollipop issues. Then we meet the other character of the show, Mr. Wonka. Now, I don't know if you have a door to your neighbor that the neighbor could just open, but I guess they have an agreement. And another thing I noticed in the scene is the grandmother well, anyways, so here we notice one of the points that I mentioned that makes Nanalan the best show ever, and that is the puppet show. Let's listen to some of the part of this puppet show.
Get them under the end of the rope. Get the rules are the same, you pull and I pull. Wait, I pull and you pull? Yeah, come on.
Now, if you've seen this puppet show and said it's just a normal puppet show, look closer. And if you've seen this puppet show and understand that this puppet show showed the work of puppets, then you understand what I mean. The puppeteer of the voice of Mr. Wonka is this guy over here, which his job is being a puppeteer. And to be honest, man, I respect your work. You're great. Your voices are amazing. Go with it. You're great. This puppet show happens in every single episode, and it's kind of the highlight of the episode. Mostly, the shows are based on what Mona's learning on that episode. In this episode, Mona was learning about getting along. In the show, shows how getting along will make playing fun, as Russell and Mona were having a fight over the lollipop. Russell, I understand you have an issue, and I respect it. Needed help, not hate. Now, in the later episodes, these puppet shows get better and better. These puppet shows sound like a real sitcom show or a show that an adult would watch. Now, afterwards, Mona and Russell forgive each other and start to play together. But then, Mona feels tired, so Nana takes her to a nap and sings her a lullaby. Now, this is the other point that I mentioned that makes the show great, is the childhood nostalgia. Now, you may think I'm just mentioning this up because the grandmother took the grandkid to a nap, but if you see the show and the story and how they interact with each other and how the lullaby was actually lullaby that the grandmother used to sing to the daughter, it shows you a childhood nostalgia that makes you wish that you're Mona. This show just want to show a life of a kid who's enjoying her life in her grandmother's house. Additionally, the creators of the show had stated in an interview that they make the lines on the point and it's not scripted.
He improvised everything, so there's a very sort of authentic feel, I think, to them.
So it's just what they feel will be something that kids will relate to, and what would happen in that scene if a grandmother is taking her granddaughter to a nap. Pointing out another point that I mentioned that made the show great. Because it's improvised, it makes it organic. Later on the episode, Mona wakes up from her nap, and her grandmother prepared her a puzzle they needed to solve to make a picture. And one thing that I really like about the scene was Mona doing stuff that is related to intelligence, like if you call it intelligence, is how her grandmother always mentions how smart and great she is.
You are so clever. You are so clever.
Now call me whatever you want, but would you not like it when somebody says this to you? It's beautiful. It's nice. In the next scene, Mona and Nana hula hoop together to the first song of the show, Hula Hula, which foreshadowing for what made this show blow up in 2023, if you know what I mean. Anyways, after the dance show, the dog Russell wakes up hearing the song and dances with both of them. Now, after dancing, Mona and Russell go out to play, where the show ends when Mona hears her mother ringing the doorbell, and then she goes back home. Now, I know that I spent most of my time talking about the first episode, but the two episodes that we're talking about in this video was just about the famous scenes that made them go viral and be renewed in 2023. The last episode is just how Nana's Land has been changing since the release of the first episode, which was 1 year ago. In addition, Nana's Land Official is a YouTube video that still releases up to now, and all the videos that you see here is on there, so go check it out if you really like this show. You will. We discussed the 3 points that makes an Nana show the greatest show. But if I need to add another point that makes this show great is its music. Music in kids shows are typical, but Nana's Land music is the same thing as its relativity in its show. The music is beautiful, and it's just something that a person can make up in its spot. And I don't know specifically if they did this to the music, but it's good. One of the music that made Nana's Land be renewed and went viral on TikTok was the Princess song, or if you're unfamiliar with this song.
Wonderful girl, could she be any cuter? Who's that wonderful girl?
Now, I want to point out that this song is great in what made her. It's more greater is the way the grandmother sings. Again, Mona and Nana are voiced by 2 men. But, I mean, seriously, dude, you sing so good. I respect you. Really, I thought a real singer sing this song. He's seriously so good. Anyways, this song was on the episode 9 of the show, named Playdate, where Mona learns how to pretend. That's why she's wearing a princess dress. The other episode that made Nana's Land famous on TikTok was Baby Bird, and it's just the segment in the episode where Mona says this.
That's okay, Birdie. I'm gonna take care of you, Birdie. Okay? Okay?
Well, I mean, I heard it sometimes on TikTok. To be honest, this 2-song and episode is actually the most viewed videos on their YouTube channel too, so I think it's kind of going viral on both the platform. But these are the 2 episodes that made Nana's Land renewed. Now, after the renewal, you can notice some differences in the show. They're not significant changes, but they are some changes. So the final episode to be recently published on Nana's Land Official YouTube channel is Camp Waka. So in this episode, Mona's gonna sleep over at her grandmother's house as her mother goes to an opera that her grandmother got a ticket for. Now, I mentioned this specifically to point out the relativity part of the point that made the show great is that they mention these simple details that make the show legit, something that could happen in real life, something beautiful. Great. Anyways, in this show, Nana and Mona were excited to spend the best sleepover ever. But a black hole happens. Mona realizes that she has to spend her time in her Nana's house without no light, without no TV, so she freaks out and dies. Okay, I really went off script there. In actuality, Nana suggests to go to Mr. Wonka's to spend the night over, or camp, one Camp Wonka, instead of spending the day in a lighthouse TV-less house. They go outside and we learn something that I actually pointed out in the first episode before watching the last episode. how there's a door to their neighbors that anybody could open at any moment. They installed a bell. Well, I feel like Nana installed a bell because the bell is outside the door, so I think she got in the wrong time, whatever. Anyways, they get in there and they camp out. The one thing that I hate in this episode is there is no puppet show, and it shows you the chain that we're heading to, because in the later episode there were a lot of puppet show, like in every single day Mona goes to the neighbor's house, once the puppet show learns. But at this point I don't think they needed a puppet show, as you know, it's night. I don't know why Mr. Wonka would compare puppet show at night, and they're actually gonna teach Mona about camping while camping. Another thing that I want to mention is, don't you want to be Mona here? Like, seriously, I hate camping, personally, because, well, you want to live in the wild while having a house. But having a camping, like, outside of your house in your garden is actually fun. And look at her. Seriously, she looks like a worm. So comfy in there. I want to point out in this scene that Nana and Mr. Wonka are singing together. You know, there's romantic chemistry for me, at least. I mean, I went to a color mixing website to check if there's any possible way that a yellow puppet and an orange puppet can make a green puppet to suggest that he's the father of Mona's mother. But because he's yellow, and like yellow and red make orange, kind of like maybe she had some glue there. I don't know, but I'm sure these two there's something. I mean, seriously, maybe they're just really loving neighbors, that's why they have doors to each other's house. But hey, anyways, they continue singing, make some hot dogs, go to sleep, hear some noises, laugh about it, and then Nona goes to her mother in the morning. So, I know this video went very long, and I feel like you could understand how this show is amazing. In the later episodes, they started another inclusion of Nana reading a story to Mona about real stuff that is related to the episode's lesson. And the music is still there too, the puppet shows. And yeah, this is all about Nana's Land. Now, I mentioned the first part of the video that Nana's Land actually won an Emmy, nominated for an Emmy, sort of, because it's actually nominated to a Jammy Award, if I'm pronouncing that right, which is like a Canadian version of the Emmys Award. Nominated, yeah, but I never heard Blue's Clues was nominated for an Emmy. So, this is Nana's Land. Go check it out. It's actually great. And if you want me to talk about another kid show related to Baraem, I want to point out I'm all about Baraem. If you don't know Baraem, search it out. I'll talk about it, put it on the comments. I know that I don't have the largest audience to ask this question, but hey, I'm here to spread Baraem's word, and this is one of my best Baraem shows, and it's kind of trending right now, and that's why I mentioned it here. And this is gonna be a typical kind of video that I'm gonna do from now on. But if you want to check out what I was planning to do before starting this, you could check this video out. Thank you everybody, and salute for Baraem.